Alright, so I'm going to put the scale ticket somewhere over here for this load because it's heavy. I'm actually almost 26,000 pounds with a bumper pull and 3,700 pounds of fuel in the bed. So I am going to try and drop this trailer off here at the yard, see if I can't make some room for it, and then I'm going to head over to my dad's. We're going to drop the oil off. I'm going to top up my tank, and I need to get 2 oil filters for the auxiliary tank. So, yeah, it squats pretty... Here she is. So, no issues. Everything's still there. Yeah, I think that one leaks a little bit. So I'm gonna take all of this to the car wash and get everything sprayed off after I get all the oil out, because I think for some reason he drilled a bunch of holes in that one, and then the other ones are fine. So it'll be all right. All right, so I cleaned off like the back half of the truck because there was like oil all over, you guys saw. So all that's clean. I'm gonna bring 2 barrels with me because it's gonna be like 1,200 miles. So I'll bring both of them with me. That gives me 110 extra gallons, which I think I'll use, but I don't think I'm gonna find a load back because Maine sucks. So I'm just gonna come home. So it won't cost me anything but tolls to get back down. And we'll be all right. So I'm gonna go get me some tea, go get some dinner, get a shower, and get ready to hit the road. All right, sorry for the shitty quality, but we are hooking up now to the, actually I'm gonna throw it in reverse because we're not running. And I left the key on. Boom, reverse. So we're hooking up now. We're gonna be heading to Maine tonight. Should have enough time to be able to get there. They were gracious enough to give me another spot as a temporary, just for tonight. Tried to sell me a 4th spot, but I don't need it yet, not until I pick up my 40-footer. So I'm gonna get this thing, you know, dropped down and everything. Bring in 2 barrels with me because I think it was like 1,200 miles or something like that, like round trip and shit. So I just want to be prepared. I know I'm not bringing anything back, so it's not a big deal. This is 110 gallons here. That's 105 gallons, so that's 215 gallons. Plus whatever's left in the tank, so 215. So there's probably 230, 235 gallons left. At some point, I do need to swap this filter out because I've actually gotten a lot of use out of this filter. So I'm going to swap this filter because the pump's kind of being a little slow, which, you know, it's an old filter. So I'm going to get this thing dropped. We'll see. The rear end definitely came up a lot, getting rid of 4 barrels worth of shit. If you look 4, so 55, that's 110, plus 55, that's 165, plus 35, that is 190 gallons of fuel I got rid of sitting at the shop. So we'll use all of this going back and forth. I don't think I'll use all that. If I do, I'm going to be pretty disappointed. But this thing does get pretty bad mileage. This thing is 13.6 tall and it's a bumper pull. It's just ridiculous. I don't really like it. All right, so everything is all good. Went through my pre-trip, checked the oil, checked the coolant, checked pretty much everything, went over, made sure the bags were good. I don't know why. I've already pulled it out once. This light, for some reason, it keeps going out. Something with the wiring in it, the connection, it's weird. Just changed that filter, filled the regular tank, got this everything situated back here. I'm gonna let it, these are really bad with like bouncing and whatnot. So the more air pressure I put in the bags, it actually gets worse the higher you go. I put 60 in it now just because, one, this is a reverse leveled truck. So this thing sits level by itself. So I let it squat a little bit. We have, what is that? 110 gallons times 8. There's almost 1,000 pounds right there in the bed on top of another 800 pounds worth of fuel right there. So there's like 1,600 pounds, 1,700 pounds worth of fuel. So that kind of helps with a little bit of the downward compression and being able to put the airbags up so high. It should get rid of a lot of the bounce, and then that should pretty much solve it. I've also dropped it down. These things like to sway a lot more if you get them level or put them tongue up. You want to keep these things nose down for some reason. It just works. I don't get it, but they're park models. Any other trailer besides park models, I will put them perfectly level. But these park models, you have to put them nose down a little bit. It's a pain in the ass, but it's well worth it. So I'm gonna get out of here and make our trip to Maine. See how many hours it is. Should be about 10 and a half, so we should be there in the morning. Wasn't paying attention and I ran myself out of diesel, so I'm gonna fill that up real quick. I'll show you what I had to deal with last night. I rigged it a couple of times. It worked fine for a little bit, and then it didn't. So, actually, I don't even know why that's still not connected. Yeah, so figure that side's gone. So I used 2 ratchet straps, and the clamp actually broke. So I'm just kind of like holding it together with some hose clamps and a ratchet strap pulling the downpipe that way. But yeah, that's what happened last night, so I have no idea. And I did figure out my coolant leak. It was something super simple. So, no more coolant leak. That took me all but 30 seconds to fix. I don't know. I'm gonna have to get a clamp when I get home. So I'm up in Maine now. Go ahead, get this thing filled up. Make sure we don't have any blowouts. Looks like we do not. And yeah, I've kind of been cheating with filling this thing up. Like, I'm on like just about E. I didn't run it all the way out, but I'm pretty damn close. So here's what I've been doing to fill the tank, because fuck it, it's all the way down on E, so I'm gonna take a piss quick and call it a day. Oh, there she is. $13,100 trailer. They didn't screw any of the doorknobs in either on the inside. Whew.
Yeah. Let me know if you see anything too.
Yeah, they're generally perfect from the factory. It's just if you get like rock chips and whatnot, but usually they're pretty good at avoiding them. It'll go through the glass before it goes through the body panels. Yeah, she looks good. Nice and clean, brand new. I gotta fill my tank up. I am out of oil, so I'm glad I brought those 2. That'll get me home. I paid 95 bucks for that little pump up there. You guys can see oil out one side. Filling up the tank. All good. Then I'm gonna move these barrels back because they'll be empty. And then I'll put my hitches back in. Ready to have my bed space back. Then we'll go to the car wash, get this whole thing cleaned back up again. Also, yeah, my coolant leak. You guys can see all like the coolant everywhere. It was literally this guy right here. There was a little piece of metal inside the O-ring. Pulled it out, cleaned it off, threw it back on, no more coolant leak. Doubling her up, filling that tank, filling this tank. I wanted to go into that tank first because that has a screen and a filter. And it'll go in this tank, and then it'll go through the 2 filters down there. That's why I do it that way. Sucks, but free fuel. So it's like $2,700 worth of free shit. I'll take it. Alright, so I dropped that trailer, and I went to a rest stop to like sleep for a couple hours, and I ended up really passing out because for the past like week, I'd say I've been working a lot and doing a lot more than I feel like I really should be, but I ended up passing out. Like, that was a hard crash. I think I fell asleep around like 4:30, 4:37 was the last text message I sent. And then I woke up at like 11 something and I was like, oh shit. So I got some sleep. So we're heading home now. I got about 6.5 hours until I get there. I'm gonna have to stop for fuel once. I'm gonna change these fuel filters on the way because I have them on me and they definitely need changed. All right, so it is pouring down rain. So what better day to wash the truck than today? I gotta get all, oh, by the way, 569,000 miles. I gotta clean the whole thing, get all the oil off of it that I spilled, get the coolant out of the engine bay because I fixed that leak. And then I have a spare clamp at the shop, so I'm gonna go grab that, or at the box truck, so I'm gonna grab that and install the new clamp. Realistically, I should have went there first and brought that clamp here, but I got oil down the side and I overflowed the aux tank, and I also got it all over the inside here. So, holy shit, I'm getting wet. Also, this thing here for some reason has been a problem the past couple days. I have no idea why it started to do that, but I'm ready to take this strap off at this point. I think I'm just gonna take it off because it's not doing anything anyway. Whatever. So I'm gonna get this whole thing sprayed out, get all the oil off the side, clean everything up on the bottom, get these filters clean because I just changed them this morning. I didn't feel like washing them. And I still have the liners out so that way I can spray down up into here. I'm gonna try to like hook some of these wires up and you know, push them up there a little bit, but or not, get it cleaned. So I had a spare clamp sitting in the old storage shed we call the Bountiful Blessings wagon. So I got all that stuff organized and neatened up. I even mounted the pump over here. I'm gonna do something about that hose, maybe get a new one that's like a lot more sturdy like that one. But I'm gonna order more hose that's longer. I need like 100 feet of this so that I can literally like walk it into places, because that would be perfect. And then it's mess free, and I can put, instead of having this pump here, I wanna put a drain or like a fill like somewhere on the side here. So this would just connect right in there instead of having to use this. So I feel like that would, actually no, that wouldn't make sense. You're right, guys, I'm dumb sometimes. Yeah, I'm gonna need this anyway because I'm gonna be filling 55-gallon drums, not just my waste oil itself. So I'm gonna get this thing installed on my truck because I didn't even get past PA and this thing broke. So I don't even know how it broke. I have a new one on order. It was like 36 bucks, not a big deal. So I'm gonna get the hose clamps and ratchet strap off, and we're gonna get this installed with Liam. If you guys look in there, you can see I put 2 hose clamps, and then the ratchet strap pulled it this way so that it would stay together. And it only leaked a little bit on the other side, so I'm good with that. I'm super happy that it stayed together long enough for me to get home. Yes, it was a little exhaust leak, but it broke before I even got out of PA, so I had to drive all the way up to Maine and then back like this. So you guys know from previous videos, I am not afraid to fix something half-ass and then come home and fix it properly. So that's what I'm doing now. And I also need a hose clamp. So I bought hose clamps for the intake because it keeps popping off and making the turbo really loud, and it's really kind of obnoxious. Now this is there's only 2 drawbacks to running waste oil. One, that's normal a lot of the time, especially when it's warmed up. And then fuel filters. It's all fixed. That's why it pays when you have an older truck, have some spare parts. All right, so it is after work now. So what we're gonna do is I'm going to take, I think it's these 2. These 2 are empty. So we're gonna get these 2 loaded back up in the truck. I might siphon this one a while. I don't know if I have a use for that little mini one. I might keep that little mini one for like travel purposes, maybe throw it in the back of the bed. But what we're gonna do is I'm gonna get all the oil swapped over, try to siphon that one. I got longer hoses on order. Like for some reason when I ordered this kit, they gave me these cheap, shitty hoses. So I ordered nice hoses. I ordered a couple more feet of this. So I should have like 30 feet coming out of the truck. You guys will see right there. We should have 30 feet coming out of the truck. And then this hose will be a 10-foot hose. So I'm gonna add all these little hoses all together with some fittings and whatnot. And then that'll work great. And then this, I'll be able to siphon oil from. How I'll get the stuff out of the bed is put one down on the ground, siphon it up into one, or siphon it down out of one. So should make life really, really easy. I'm gonna get these loaded up and we are gonna head out because these are gonna get stored in the box truck. We're gonna basically take them, you know, 2 at a time to the box truck. These are full, all of these are full. So a little bit of rainwater, but they're all sealed, luckily, except this one here has the screws in it. So we'll see. I don't know what we're gonna do with this one, but we're gonna try to collect as many of these as possible. So if you are in Carlisle area or surrounding areas and you have it in bulk or barrels, let me know. I accept them. So, and pickup is free. You know, I will say at times this can be a little bit of effort, you know, going around. It takes a couple of hours, but the savings is absolutely enormous. Like, it's not even a small difference. Like, if fuel was like $2.85 a gallon, you know, this would probably be a waste of time. But at $6.05 a gallon is what it is right now. So I'm going Saturday to pick up another 100 gallons. I'm gonna throw them in 2 55-gallon drums, and that's $600 in fuel, literally just for free. So like I just picked up 450 gallons the other day. That's $2,700 worth of fuel for free, essentially. And the other thing, this stuff is actually thicker than regular diesel. So I mean, in theory, you should get better mileage, but I'm not sure how that actually works. I don't really have a way of checking my mileage, but yeah, so all I'm doing, every bit of oil that I run, I always put it through the aux tank. I run it through this little screen right here, which I can pull out and clean, and then through one oil filter. It drops in the tank, and then we have 2 oil filters on the frame, and then to the engine. So that's how I pretty much run it. I like to run it through this first because the strainer gets rid of all the bullshit, and then I can just pull the bullshit out, throw it on the ground, you know, smack it on the ground, clean it off, and then go from there. So unfortunately, I do need to get some nozzles that shut off automatically. That would be nice, but you know, sometimes you just gotta hope and pray that you don't make a mess. And then same thing with the other one. I take that little hose from that one that's mounted to the side, drop it down beside a barrel, suction that barrel out, fill the aux tank, good to go. So aux tank is pretty full right now. So I'm gonna drain a lot of this down in there and then take that little 35-gallon drum as well, because I'm trying to take all of his drums. And he's gonna get me some more of these too. And I do understand, a lot of guys have asked me, is it worth it? Is it, you know, is it any extra work? Is there any drawbacks to it? There's a few drawbacks, but they're worth it if you can overlook them. First of all, it smokes, you know, like it's burning oil all the time. That's just how it is, obviously, because we're burning oil. Next thing is this pump. Okay, so let's say the aux tank first. Okay, everybody should have an aux tank, but if you don't and you want to do this, the most efficient way is to buy an aux tank. This is probably $800 to get an aux tank. You can get them used, $400, $200. I don't know. I didn't pay much more. I think I paid $100 or $200 for this aux tank. It's 105 gallons. Okay, this guy here with this guy here with this guy here was, I think, about 500. So between all that, you know, you're into it in between, in my case, I'm into it about 600 bucks. Okay, oil filters, you know, there's 50 bucks sitting there, there's 50 bucks sitting there. Okay, then we have the other motor over there. So I'm probably into, and then, you know, all the bullshit. So I'm probably into the whole setup about 700-800 bucks for all of that. Actually 900 because I added filters on the frame. So yeah, the filter kit itself outside of the filters. So we're into about 900 bucks. Okay, so that's what it costs to initially invest in this system. You don't have to do that. You can just run it straight if you're local, whatever, but you're only gonna get like 300, 400, 500 miles out of a tank, and that's not enough, especially for a guy towing. We need more, so that's why we have that, okay? Factory lift pump, factory injectors, factory injection pump. All of it's factory. It's a P7100 pump on a 12-valve Cummins, okay? You can run it factory. You will clog screens every now and again if you don't filter it good. So that's why we got the filtration set up down there, filtration set up here, all well and good. The screen catches the big chunks, the filter grabs the small stuff. It's 24 micron and then 224 microns on the frame. I do it like that because those are the last lines of defense. When they clog, they're kind of a pain in the ass, but you know, you just swap them out and you go on your day. 50 bucks every now and again. So 50 bucks every month versus, man, I could spend a lot of money every week on fuel, but you get it. So that's the point. A couple hours labor to get some barrels and, you know, save all this stuff. Get all that water out of there, all oily water. But you guys get the point. So that's basically how we're doing it. I will show you. This is a factory. Liam, you enjoying the shade? This is a completely stock engine, for the guys wondering. So you guys see it, factory engine, 12-valve Cummins P-pump. Cheap, $1,500 motor. That's what I paid for it. Now, ignore the jumper cables because I haven't hooked it up to power yet, so I'm using jumper cables as of now, but that will change here soon, so I have the cables up. Like I said, ignore all that. So here's the setup. Pump is right here, hose. Like I said, I'm getting an extension for that here soon. Basically all I gotta do is sit here and hit the little button and then siphon it in. Now the pump is pretty loud. You guys get the point. Way easier than using a mechanical pump. If you got one of these for your birthday one year, you can just automatically do this and you don't have to worry about having to sit there and hold it. So he'll do it for me. So we're just gonna sit and wait until that's empty. I'm gonna take this barrel with me. And the nice thing about this, like I said, with that pump, if I have full ones up here, I can drain them into empty ones that are down on the ground, which is gonna be a huge lifesaver because I am not picking up a 450 pound barrel by myself. I'm not doing it. So it might be a little bit more work to do it this way, but I'd rather save my back. So free fuel is free fuel, guys. As long as he doesn't overflow that tank, we're good. All right, so what I do to keep this cleanly is when I pull this out, I'll actually use a paper towel on it the whole way down so that way when I sit it in the bed, it's clean. I've been stuffing rags in the nozzles because like you can see over there, like it leaves a big puddle. So I just leave a rag in there. It doesn't go anywhere. There's a mess on there because I didn't do it. But like I said, most transporters should have that anyway because they need to run a fuel cell anyway. Because if not, like you're just filling up 3 times a day. But yeah, so super easy. I'm gonna grab this barrel. We'll be out of here. All right, so everything's done. So right now, diesel fuel in PA, I can get it for about $6.01 a gallon with mud flap, which by the way, link in the description for mud flap. And so to fill that tank, what I just did there, $6.01 times 140 gallons is $841. So fill that tank, it's $841. I just filled it up for free with oil. Hope this helps some people out. You do it at your own risk. Everybody's situation is gonna be different. Everybody's results will probably be different. Know that every tank of oil that you put in is gonna make the truck act different than the last tank. It's just, there's no consistency to it. Especially if you're getting from multiple different shops, it's just how it is. Also, I'm doing that in a truck that has AC. I'm sitting here, nice and cool, it's 86 degrees outside, but you'll see, it does haze a little bit. That's just normal. Get used to it. I do know what you guys are thinking. You know, you common rail guys are probably cringing like hell right now. Thinking, oh, can I do that? No, absolutely not. I don't ever recommend this in any truck that does not have a P7100 injection pump or whatever the 7.3s had, because the 7.3s can run it apparently. Also, doors, dash, bumper, instrument cluster, and tip them. Someone make an offer on that shit. I'm tired of looking at it. I gotta clean this whole thing out. Hood and a fender, all that stuff. I gotta clean all that stuff out because this whole thing is gonna be barrels. Like I am getting as many of these I can fit, you know. I'll probably end up putting them like one here, one here. So I'm gonna get as many of these barrels as possible. This poor box truck is gonna get a suspension workout, but it is worth it. I've had a few people ask about that. Nobody said anything definitely on it, but that's still ready to go. If anybody wants that, send me a message.